through immediately is this. Your distance is doing something to this person. Your calm, your detachment, your refusal to feed the connection in the way they expected. All of that is hitting them much harder than they want to admit. But the energy here shows that you are not moving the way they expected, and now their desire is turning sharp, restless, and possessive. The first card appearing here is the Chariot. This card shows pursuit, not quiet interest, not a little curiosity. Pursuit, the kind of energy that says this person does not want to sit still when they feel challenged. And right now, your lack of visible care may be acting like a challenge to their ego. The Chariot wants movement, it wants attention, it wants a result. So this person may already be thinking in terms of action. How do they get closer? How do they get you to react? How do they become impossible for you to ignore? And what makes it stronger is that the chase energy here does not look calm. It looks fueled by frustration. The next card appearing here is the Queen of Swords. This is your energy in their mind, unreadable, controlled, untouched. Maybe you are not actually cold, but that is how they may be reading you now. The Queen of Swords does not perform emotion just because someone wants reassurance. She does not hand out access just because another person is hungry for it. Because this person may be angry that they cannot pull what they want out of you. Angry that your silence feels stronger than their effort. Angry that the more they want your reaction, the less you seem willing to give it. But underneath that irritation is attraction. The next card appearing here is the Devil. Now the reading becomes unmistakable. This card is pure fixation, physical obsession, sensual curiosity. This person may think about you in a very explicit way. They may imagine your body. They may imagine what you look like when no one else is around. They may replay certain images of you in their mind, clothes, movement, eye contact, posture, and let their imagination go much further. So yes, the title is intense for a reason. This person does want to see more of you, much more. They may fantasize about catching a side of you that feels hidden, forbidden, or unavailable to them right now. And what makes that desire burn hotter is the feeling that you are not giving them easy access. The next card appearing here is the Page of Swords. This card says they are watching, paying attention, looking for clues. This could be social media, shared spaces, tiny details in the way you present yourself. The Page of Swords does not always mean confrontation. Sometimes it means someone studying a person because fascination has already set in. They may act casual on the outside while mentally collecting more and more information about you. The next card appearing here is the Knight of Wands. This is heat, impulse, hunger. The Knight of Wands does not like waiting. He does not enjoy being kept at a distance by someone he strongly desires. So this person may be growing impatient. They may feel like they want to break the tension somehow. Say something bold, flirt harder, appear unexpectedly, push the energy just enough to make you respond. Because what they cannot stand right now is the possibility that you truly do not care. That is what is aggravating them, not just wanting you while feeling ignored. The next card appearing here is the Moon. This says much of their desire is hidden. They may not be telling the whole truth about how much you affect them. They may joke, deflect, pretend they are unbothered. But the Moon says their private thoughts are far more intense than what they show. In private, your energy may stay on their mind long after the moment ends. In private, they may be far more worked up than anyone would guess. And the final card appearing here is the Lovers. This deepens the reading because this is not only lust, it is chemistry with emotional charge behind it. They may feel that something about you reaches deeper than surface attraction. That is why this is not fading. That is why the chase keeps building. So the message of this first part is very clear. This person is activated by your distance, provoked by your lack of reaction, pulled in by the mystery of what they cannot easily get from you. And yes, the attraction here is highly physical. They may absolutely fantasize about seeing far more of you than they have any right to see right now. But what makes this stronger is that it is not only lust, it is ego frustration, curiosity, and the fact that whether they like it or not, your energy is already under their skin, far more than they ever meant to feel. Now the mood changes and it feels more heated than before because the first part showed the attraction, but this part shows the reaction underneath it. This person is not only drawn to you, they are irritated by how little control they seem to have over the effect you create in them, and that irritation is not cooling the desire down. It is feeding it. The first card appearing here is the Five of Wands. This card shows inner conflict, competition, agitation. It suggests that this person may feel like they are fighting something every time your energy enters the room. Maybe it is pride, maybe it is ego, maybe it is the simple fact that they do not like wanting someone who does not seem easy to influence, but whatever it is, the feeling is active. They may feel annoyed that you do not chase, annoyed that you do not reassure, annoyed that your attention is not automatically theirs. And because of that, the attraction keeps becoming more charged. The next card appearing here is the King of Wands. Now this card says they still want to come out on top of the situation. They may want to feel desired by you. They may want to feel that they can turn your head if they really try. The King of Wands does not like feeling dismissed. He wants impact, he wants response, he wants to know that when he moves, something happens. So when this person feels that you are calm, hard to read, or simply unbothered, it may press directly on their pride. That pride is becoming part of the chase. The next card appearing here is the Page of Wands. This card adds flirtation, curiosity, and restless tension. It suggests they may be thinking about how to spark something, how to get under your skin a little, how to make you react. This could be through a message, a look, a comment, a bold move that feels playful on the surface but has very serious desire underneath it. Because the Page of Wands does not only want contact, it wants chemistry. It wants the moment where tension becomes visible. The next card appearing here is the Devil. And here the reading becomes impossible to soften. This person may be fantasizing heavily. They may imagine your body in detail. They may think about touch, skin, proximity, exposure. They may want to strip away the distance between you in the most physical way possible. That is why your indifference is hitting so hard. If you were openly interested, they might calm down. But because you are not giving them what they want emotionally, their mind may be running even hotter physically. The next card appearing here is the Nine of Swords. This says they are thinking too much about it late at night in quiet moments, when they should be focusing elsewhere. Your energy may return to them in flashes, a memory, a picture, a possibility, a fantasy, and then their mind keeps going. The desire does not switch off when the room gets quiet. Sometimes it gets louder. The next card appearing here is the Magician. This card says they may eventually try to create an opportunity, not wait for one. Create one. The Magician wants access, wants results, wants the situation to move from imagination into reality. So this person may begin planning, looking for the right opening, the right excuse, the right reason to get closer, because simply wanting you is no longer enough for them. They want movement. The final card appearing here is the Tower. This is big because it suggests the tension may break suddenly. A message, a confession, a bold comment, a visible reaction, something that reveals just how affected they have become. The Tower says they may not be able to hold this controlled image forever. So the message of this second part is very clear. This person is not calming down. They are getting more frustrated, more tempted, and more focused on getting a reaction out of you. What they feel is highly physical, but it is also tied to pride challenge and the fact that your distance keeps making them want more. And that is exactly why the chase energy is building instead of fading. There's another layer here, and it feels very telling. This person may not even like how much power your silence has. They may resent the fact that one cold response or one absent response can stay with them longer than anything else in their day. That is not normal attraction. That is fixation mixed with wounded pride. They may keep asking themselves why you are affecting them this much and why they cannot simply pull back and act normal. But the cards suggest they cannot. Because every time they try to reduce the connection in their mind, your energy rises again, stronger, sharper, more physical, more consuming. They want to see whether the fire they feel is one-sided or whether somewhere under your calm surface you feel it too. And that question alone may keep pushing them closer, whether they admit. Now, the energy turns even more personal because this is the part where the cards stop showing the surface reaction and start revealing what is happening underneath it. And underneath it, this person feels exposed, not because they have told you everything, but because wanting you this much while feeling like you do not care is beginning to hit their pride in a way they cannot easily hide from themselves. The first card appearing here is the Emperor. This card is important because it shows someone who likes control, someone who usually prefers to stay composed, measured, and hard to read. They may not enjoy feeling emotionally messy. They may not enjoy feeling like another person has gotten under their skin. And yet that is exactly what is happening here. The Emperor wants command. He wants certainty. He wants to feel that when he makes a move, it lands. So when your energy stays cool, distant, or simply unconcerned, it can make this person feel strangely powerless, and that loss of control may be one of the reasons the chase becomes stronger. The next card appearing here is the Queen of Wands. This says a huge part of the fixation is your presence, the way you carry yourself, the way you seem desirable without begging to be desired, the way your energy can feel warm, magnetic, and hard to forget. This person may not only be physically attracted to your body, they may be deeply drawn to the way you own your space. That matters because attraction becomes far more intense when someone feels that another person is not trying to seduce them at all, and yet still does naturally, effortlessly, almost accidentally. The next card appearing here is the Seven of Cups. This is where fantasy becomes very active. This person may imagine multiple scenarios with you, private ones. Bold ones, moments where the distance disappears and the restraint breaks. The Seven of Cups does not keep desire neat. It lets it multiply. It lets the mind wander. It lets the body fill in details that reality has not yet provided. So yes, this person may be fantasizing a lot, not once, not lightly, a lot. The next card appearing here is the Page of Swords. This says the curiosity is still alive, maybe even stronger than before. They may notice details about your appearance that others miss, the way your clothes fit, the way you move, the way your body language shifts when you are relaxed versus guarded. Their attention may linger in ways they try not to make obvious, because they do not only want your attention, they want access. The next card appearing here is the Moon. This confirms that much of this is hidden. Their outward behavior may not reveal the full depth of what is happening privately. They may act dry, casual, teasing, unbothered. But under that surface, the desire may be much more consuming than they want anyone to know. The Moon is private hunger, private imagining, private frustration, and the final card appearing here is the Ace of Wands. This card says the energy wants expression, it wants movement. It wants the tension to become physical, visible, undeniable. So the message of this third part is very clear. This person is not only attracted, they are fantasizing, watching, reacting, and trying not to lose control of how much they want you. And the harder you are to read, the more intense that wanting becomes. There is one more truth here. Part of what keeps them hooked is not only your body, it is the fact that they do not feel fully invited in. That distance keeps their imagination alive. It keeps the chase burning. It keeps them wondering what would happen if the wall dropped, even for a moment. And because they do not have that answer yet, the mind keeps reaching, the desire keeps building, the fixation keeps feeding itself. That is why this energy is not fading. It is turning inward, getting hotter, and becoming much harder for them to ignore. The card hidden underneath all of this feels like strength, and that is interesting because it says they are trying to contain themselves, trying to stay smooth, trying to act like they are not as affected as they really are. But strength is not the absence of desire. It is desire being held back by effort. So this person may be using a lot of self-control right now. They may be stopping themselves from saying too much, looking too long, reaching out too often, or making the situation more obvious than it already is, but restraint does not mean the energy is weak. In this reading, restraint actually proves the opposite. It says the pull is strong enough that they know if they fully let go, it might show all over them. And that is exactly why the tension around you feels so alive. So even now, while they try to keep themselves together, the truth remains you are not leaving their system easily, and they know it at all. And right now, the resistance is you, your calm, your distance, your refusal to perform interest, just because someone wants reassurance. That is creating a very specific reaction in this person. The more they feel like they cannot pull you in easily, the more they seem to want to try. The first card appearing here is the Six of Wands. This card says they want victory in this situation. They want proof that they still have influence over you. They want to feel chosen, noticed, wanted. And if your energy is giving them none of that right now, it may be bruising their pride in a way they cannot ignore. So some of the chase is not only about passion, it is about needing to know they can still get through to you. The next card appearing here is the Five of Pentacles. Now we see the insecurity underneath the heat. This person may feel shut out by your energy, not necessarily rejected in words, but emotionally locked outside. And that feeling can become very frustrating when someone is already highly attracted. Because if they want you badly, and they also feel like they cannot fully reach you, the desire can turn restless very quickly. The next card appearing here is the Knight of Swords. This card says impatience is growing. They may want to say something bold, push the tension, force a reaction, break the distance somehow. The Knight of Swords does not like silence when emotion is already running high. It wants directness, movement, contact. A visible shift. So if this person suddenly becomes more intense, more blunt, or more obvious than before, this card explains why. The pressure inside them is building. The next card appearing here is the Devil. And again, this card refuses to soften the truth. The attraction is still very physical, very consuming, very body-centered. This person may imagine seeing you exposed, vulnerable, and fully within reach. They may think about what they want to touch, what they want to look at longer, what they want access to that they do not have right now, and because that access is missing, the hunger stays active. The next card appearing here is the Hanged Man. This is important because it shows suspension, delay, wanting without getting, looking without holding, thinking without satisfaction. The Hanged Man suggests that part of what is driving them crazy is being stuck in desire without resolution. They may feel suspended in it, unable to move on, unable to calm down, unable to get what they want, and that kind of tension can make a person even more fixated than before. The final card appearing here is the Tower. This says the pressure may not stay controlled forever. Something may break. A reaction, a message, a look that says too much, a moment where their self-control cracks and you finally see how affected they really are. So the message of this fourth part is very clear. This person is not cooling off. They are becoming more impatient, more frustrated, and more physically fixated because your distance keeps denying them the certainty they want. And that denial is making the chase stronger, not weaker. There's another layer here too. The card suggests this person may be angry not only because they want you, but because they sense that you know the effect you have and still refuse to make it easier for them. Whether that is true or not, that may be how it feels to them. And that feeling makes the whole situation more electric because now the chase is mixed with wounded pride, unspent desire, and the fear that if they do not make a move soon, they may stay trapped in wanting you from a distance. And for someone this physically charged, that may feel unbearable. The card underneath all of this feels like the Page of Pentacles, and that changes the texture slightly because it says even with all this heat, they are still looking for an opening that feels real, a reason to approach, a small doorway, an excuse that lets them get closer without fully exposing how worked up they actually are. So they may come in lightly at first, casual tone. Small message, simple question. But under that small opening, there may be much more hunger than they are showing. And that is the tension here. They may try to look composed, try to look playful, try to look normal. But the cards say the body wants more than the mask can hide. And that is exactly why this energy keeps escalating. So even now, while they try to act like this is manageable, the truth underneath remains intense. They want a crack in the distance, a sign, a doorway, anything that lets the fantasy move closer to reality. And until that happens, their frustration and desire may keep feeding each other in circles, much more than normal. Now, the energy reveals something even more uncomfortable for this person, because this is the part where desire stops feeling exciting to them, and starts feeling consuming. They are not only attracted, they are irritated by how much they are attracted, irritated by how often your body enters their mind, irritated by how quickly your image returns, irritated by how difficult it is to act normal when your energy keeps pulling them back into the same cycle. The first card appearing here is the Nine of Wands. This card says they are trying to hold themselves together, trying to stay guarded, trying not to let the full intensity show. But the effort itself reveals the truth. If they were not deeply affected, they would not need this much control. The Nine of Wands is someone already worn down by their own internal tension. They may be telling themselves to calm down, to stop looking, to stop thinking, to stop caring so much, but none of that seems to be working very well. The next card appearing here is the Page of Wands, and this card changes the rhythm because underneath all that irritation, there is still playful temptation. A restless urge to test the energy, to say something slightly provocative to see if you react. The Page of Wands likes sparks. It likes flirtation mixed with risk. So this person may keep wanting to push the moment just a little, not enough to fully expose themselves, but enough to see whether they can wake something up in you. That is important. Because part of what is driving them now is not just desire, it is the need for proof. Proof that the chemistry is not only in their head, proof that the pull is not one-sided, proof that under your calm exterior, there is heat too. The next card appearing here is the Two of Pentacles. This card says they are swinging between extremes. One moment they tell themselves to back off. The next moment they want to come closer. One moment they act cool. The next moment they are mentally undressing you again. The Two of Pentacles is unstable focus. It is someone trying to manage themselves and not doing a very good job of it. So if this person feels inconsistent around you, that may be why. It is not because the desire is weak. It is because the desire is strong enough to make self-control unstable. The next card appearing here is the Queen of Wands. Now the reading returns to your energy and the effect it has. This card says your appeal is not only physical, it is the way you carry your body, the way you seem self-contained, the way you do not beg to be admired and still get admired. There is a confidence around you, or at least a self-possession, that makes this even harder for them because they are not only turned on by what they see, they're turned on by the fact that you do not seem easy to reach. The next card appearing here is the Moon. This confirms the private side again. Their fantasies may be far more detailed than anyone would guess. What they show on the outside may be nothing compared to what they replay internally. The Moon is the card of hidden appetite, night thoughts. Silent longing that grows stronger in the dark because it is not being openly released. And the final card appearing here is the Knight of Pentacles. This matters because it shows that despite all the heat, this person may still be looking for a real opening. A practical route toward getting closer. They may be frustrated. Yes, they may be obsessive. Yes, but they also want a chance to bring the energy into reality somehow. So the message of this fifth part is very clear. This person is trying to contain a desire that keeps returning, trying to act normal, while your energy keeps undoing that effort. Trying to hold on to dignity while their mind keeps pulling them somewhere much more physical. And because you are not making it easy, the wanting keeps deepening instead of disappearing. There is one more hidden truth here. Part of what angers them is that your body has become symbolic of something larger in their mind. Access, control, relief, validation. If they could get closer to you, see more of you, feel more of you, they may believe the tension would settle. But the cards suggest the opposite. The tension is not only about lust, it is about the fact that your distance has made your body feel like a locked door. Now, everything tightens here because the last part of this reading is not subtle at all. The cards are no longer showing curiosity. They are no longer showing only attraction. They are showing pressure. Pressure inside this person, pressure building in the body, pressure building in the mind, pressure building around the fact that they want you and do not feel in control of that wanting anymore. The first card appearing here is the Lovers, and this matters because it confirms that what is happening here is not only physical. Yes, the desire is strong. Yes, the fantasies are obvious. Yes, the body is involved in a very intense way, but the Lover says there's also real pull here, real chemistry, real emotional charge. Something about you reaches deeper than surface attraction, and that is exactly why this person cannot dismiss the connection as just lust and move on. They may want to reduce it to that. They may want to tell themselves it is only physical. They may want to act like the whole thing is simple, but it is not simple. Because the next card appearing here is the Devil. This card says the fixation is still alive and still growing, not just wanting to look, wanting access, not just wanting attention, wanting a reaction, not just wanting your body, wanting to know they can still affect you. That is what gives this reading its sharper edge. The obsession is not only about your physical form, it is also about what your distance is doing to them. Every time you stay cool, every time you do not feed the energy, every time you seem untouched by what they are feeling, the hunger seems to rise instead of settle. The next card appearing here is the Eight of Wands. This card says a breaking point is getting closer. Fast movement, fast messages, fast reactions, the kind of energy where someone stops holding back and suddenly does something more direct than before. This could be a text, a comment, a bold move, a visible increase in effort, because the Eight of Wands does not like the tension staying trapped forever. It wants release, it wants contact, it wants the energy to move. The next card appearing here is Strength. Now, this is very telling because it shows that this person is trying to manage themselves, trying to stay composed. Trying not to let everything show at once, but strength is not the absence of desire, it is desire being held back by effort. So if they still appear somewhat controlled on the outside, that does not mean the intensity is gone. It means they are working hard to contain it, and the harder they contain it, the more obvious it becomes energetically. The next card appearing here is the Four of Pentacles. This card says they are holding on to the connection tightly, holding on to the image of you, holding on to the possibility of getting closer. They may not want to admit how much of their attention you are still occupying, but they are not releasing it. They are keeping the wanting alive, protecting it, feeding it privately, returning to it even when they know they should calm down. And that is what makes this final part so clear. They are not going anywhere emotionally. They are not cooling off physically. They are not forgetting the effect you have. The final card appearing here is the Tower. And this says something has to give because you can only want this intensely for so long before it starts spilling out somewhere. The Tower is the card of pressure breaking open. Sooner or later, their self-control, their calm image, their attempt to act unaffected may crack. And when it does, you may finally see what has really been happening under the surface this whole time. So the message of this final part is very clear. This person is not only chasing because they are attracted. They are chasing because your distance has unsettled them. They are chasing because not getting what they want has made the wanting stronger. They are chasing because your energy has become a challenge to their pride and a fixation in their body. And yes, they absolutely want to see more of you, more than they should, more than they admit, more than they can comfortably carry without reacting. But underneath that physical obsession, there is also something else you got under their skin, into their thoughts, into their nerves, into the place where desire and ego mix together and stop behaving calmly. That is why this feels so charged. Because this is no longer light attraction, it is pursuit, it is frustration, it is fantasy. It is the need to know whether the wall between you can be broken. And until that answer arrives, this person may keep circling your energy, wanting more, imagining more, and trying not to lose themselves completely in the process. This is the truth here, and it is not fading soon. Now, everything tightens here because the last part of this reading is not subtle at all. The cards are no longer showing curiosity. They are no longer showing only attraction. They are showing pressure inside this person, pressure building in the body, pressure building in the mind, pressure building around the fact that they want you and do not feel in control of that wanting anymore. The first card appearing here is the Lovers. And this matters because it confirms that what is happening here is not only physical. Yes, the desire is strong. Yes, the fantasies are obvious. Yes, the body is involved in a very intense way. But the Lover says there is also real pull here, real chemistry, real emotional charge. Something about you reaches deeper than surface attraction, and that is exactly why this person cannot dismiss the connection as just lust and move on. They may want to reduce it to that. They may want to tell themselves it is only physical, They may want to act like the whole thing is simple, but it is not simple. Because the next card appearing here is the Devil. This card says the fixation is still alive and still growing, not just wanting to look, wanting access, not just wanting attention, wanting a reaction, not just wanting your body, wanting to know they can still affect you. That is what gives this reading its sharper edge. The obsession is not only about your physical form, it is also about what your distance is doing to them.